Hey guys, John from the John Muir Show here. As we're taking this whole thing on tour this week, we thought, it wouldn't be complete if we didn't at some point this week go and stand in front of a wall, since we obviously do love walls. Yeah, for all the Democrats out there, for all the rhinos out there, yeah, us, the Americans, we want a wall. And if you actually care about the American people, if you want to really do your jobs and earn those cushy six-figure salaries, how about you start building one, I don't know, maybe along the southern border like we want. But anyways, to what we're actually talking about today. So, of course, it's sad to say, but it's true that violence and talks of violence have become part of today's political climate. I mean, you have terrorist groups like Black Lives Matter and Antifa carrying out the will of the Democrat Party pretty much, going because they don't have an actual fact-based argument to throw out there to express their views, to decide, instead, no, we're going to be a bunch of angry liberals who use violence against those people we disagree with politically. It is shameful. Then you have the new face of the Democrats Party, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, recently coming out talking about how, members of the Trump administration, all because they believe differently about what should be done politically than her, that their right to privacy should be taken away by a bunch of angry mobs that go and surround them and question them and yell at them and all that. But despite all of that coming from the American left, yeah, the fake news media, it seems they have the audacity to try and blame all of the violence and the calls for violence on President Trump. Of course they did. So earlier this week, President Trump held a Make America Great Again rally down in Tampa, Florida, and reporting for CNN was Jim Acosta. Now, there was a crowd that gathered behind Acosta. There was barriers up, so they were a little ways behind Acosta, but as he's doing his live shots with Wolf Blitzer on CNN, the crowd started chanting, "CNN sucks," and "fake news," both of which, of course, are 100% true. Yeah, that didn't sit too well with whiny little Acosta. It seems like his snowflake feelings got hurt when that was going on. So after he got done with his live shot, he proceeded, this little fake tough guy did, to Twitter. And he took to Twitter, Jim Acosta did, saying that, I want to make sure that we get this one right here, he is very worried about the hostility being worked up by Trump and some in the conservative media, and he's worried that will, quote, result in somebody getting hurt. And it seemed like a couple of Acosta's Clinton News Network buddies, they weren't far behind. They wanted to join in on this fictitious chorus. You had Brian Stelter claiming that President Trump is leading a, quote, hate movement against reporters, and David Gergen decided to say, essentially, the blood's going to be on Trump's hands if any violence happens to any reporters here on out. Now, of course, while all of them, likely willingly, are completely ignoring the fact that President Trump never incited violence on anybody. In fact, Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders reiterated on Wednesday, saying, no, the president doesn't want any violence coming to anybody, regardless of their political views. The president, he didn't even encourage the jabs that were being taken at Acosta at that Florida rally. See, people did that on their own. And the fake news media, they shouldn't be so surprised when this happens, because the media, they've completely abandoned their duty to the people. They're no longer the watchdog who reports the facts without favor so people have the information to make up their own minds. Instead, they lie. They try to manipulate their audiences and try and shove their liberal agenda right down their throats. And they're surprised when people revolt against that and say, screw you, we don't like you, we're not taking your crap. It's absolutely unbelievable. They don't see it and they try blaming President Trump. No surprise, but just keep this in mind, Jim Acosta and Wolf Blitzer and all your Clinton News Network friends. The next time that President Trump calls journalists, or so-called journalists, the enemies of the people, yeah, he's not trying to incite violence. He's just telling what is an abundantly clear truth. That's all the time that we have for today, but tune in to the John Muir Show each and every weekday morning, 8:40 a.m. on WTAQ, 9 a.m. on WSAU and WHBL. Until next time, I'm out.